Welcome to the fifth installment of ongoing fuel issues with this Fairmont. And I think we're on our last leg here. So I don't know. Let's recap what we've done. The car is dying within, 10 to 15 minutes. And we've done a gas tank. We've done a fuel sending unit. We've done fuel line. We've done heat wrap on the fuel line. We've done 2000-degree heat wrap on the fuel line. We've done electric fuel pump. We've done a mechanical fuel pump. We've even rebuilt the carburetor. I'm not going to throw that. So the only thing left is what my buddy was talking about, is a phenolic spacer. Try and get that carburetor, up off the intake and maybe stop boiling the fuel. So we have that half-inch thick and carved out to match perfectly. Now, I couldn't find one, actually. I emailed the guy and he had it. I just couldn't find it on eBay, but he had it, so I bought it. Let's try it out. Are you with me? Well, we've been here before. Air cleaner coming off. Electric choke coming off. Accelerator cable coming off. Maybe. There it goes. Vacuum advance coming off. Fuel line coming off. I think. Heat wrap off. Coil coming off because of the bracket to the carburetor. Carb coming off. A good question in this instance would be hood clearance. Do we have clearance? Clearance? Over. Roger, under. Over. Under. Done. Carb coming off. Just like that. Now, the other problem we have is going to be bolts long enough to reach. So that'll be interesting. Boy, there's a lot of motorcycles out today. Gonna have to drill that out just a little bit. It looks like it's pretty snug. That's on there. That's on there. But our spacing is off just a tad. Let's get a file that out. We just need a little bit. We don't need a whole lot. All right. After a half an hour of filing, I think we finally got this thing to go on. It does move around, so it's not super tight, but it's snug. But by the time we set this carburetor on there, we got nothing to bolt to. So we're gonna have to go check our magic red basket of tricks. Right. There we go. Extended studs. I bought the medium-sized ones and not the extra long ones because I didn't know if they would clear, but I don't know that these are actually long enough. But we're going to do it anyway. Yeah, just a little bit longer compared to the old one. So let's mount those up and get this thing going. And assuming that they fit, it looks like they do. Pretty standard. Snug those up. Let's lock that puppy on there. Snug it up. There we go. Do that to the other side. Double nut. Snug that in there. Just don't need them coming out. I'm going to take the carb off a million more times. And now we are set to jet. So, our little carb base gasket on with our PVC. Hopefully this works. Because I'm adding another gasket, of course, and adding washers to the nuts that are holding the carburetor on. So I don't know. Yeah, this may or may not fit. There was some extra on the other carb before, so it should be fine. But we shall see. Snug. Snug. I'll hook the PVC back up. Get our thick-based carburetor gasket. Get our spacer. Oh yeah, now of course it fits like loosey-goosey. Great. So, other base gasket. Carburetor. We got away with longer studs, it looks like. And I didn't have to file out that phenolic spacer after all. Good golly. So everything's just going to wiggle around. But you know what? The carb does that anyway. So much slop. Look at that slop. Tons of it. I don't like that. Let's see how this looks when we get everything buttoned up. All right. Everything aligned as best we can. It all fits loosey-goosey. So, hey, we filed out that phenolic spacer and it's loose. The carburetor's loose. The base is loose. Like we'll just kind of snug everything up and pray for the best. Now, I raise it up a half an inch. Let's see if we can get our coil bolts in. Hopefully, looks like we can. Oh yeah. See if we can get our coil on. Yep. Looks like it's going to work. As far as that goes, a little surprising, but hey, I'll take it. Coming together. Put the coil back up. Hey, it's on there. Any gaskets I missed? I don't know. What am I missing? Anything? We're going to permanently run the fuel line this time in a way that I'd rather have it than what I'm doing here. So this stuff works pretty good. So we're going to make another use of that in a different way. So accelerator cable. Get our electric choke hooked up. Close that a little bit. Vacuum advance. Hooked up. All right, let's work on some fuel line. Voila. This better do it. So we got our spacer on there and the carb's like on there. So I think we're good there. I did rerun the fuel line with partial metal line, which good, bad, and different. I just hate that little bend that was there with the rubber fuel line. We've got the thermal wrap on here. Underneath that, we've got the 2000 degree insulation on there, the metal fuel line, and then the 2000 degree just continues by itself down to the fuel outlet on the frame. And I have everything hooked up. Everything's tight. Should be ready to go. We've got the fuel line away from the heat of the emission system. And I mean, man, we should be there. For all I know, it's just going to run till it runs out of gas. Let's hope. We'll throw it on the timer and see what happens. But first, let's just get you in here and show you what was done. So, yep, like I said, thermal wrap all the way down. Got a joint here with a 90 degree on the metal fuel line. Got fuel injection line in there, so we're running ethanol. I'll have to replace a couple in the rear. Got the thermal wrap here. Everything's wire tied, solid, ready to go. Carbs up, ready to go. Linkages up, ready to go. Coils on, ready to go. So, yeah, this is what it's looking like. Everything's just rerouted and double wrapped. So, all the way up to the filter. So let's put a timer on this thing, fire it up, and see how it goes. It's been like a week. Let's try it out. Well, I'll have to find that thing and rip it out. But fuel pump's working. Choke's on. All right, let's start the timer. No leaks. Let this run and warm up and see what happens. All right, well, we're at 10 minutes. Let's kick the choke off. Now we'll just let it sit and see what it does. Might have to adjust some things a little bit with that spacer on there. I might bring the idle up a little bit and mess with some idle air fuel, but let's check temperatures. Coal of the carburetor, about 120, nope, let's see, 118-ish, 115-ish. Phenolic spacer, 125-ish. Base of the PCV, 132. Intake, 157. Starter's running now 175-ish, so it's probably warmed up now. Sending stuff through, hopefully. $150, $160 with the radiator. $152, $140-ish. Got the PCB. Check the carb here, 125, 126 with the carb there. Almost fully warm. Ambient temperature is 87, whereas like 100, 105 in here before. Where are we at now time-wise? Looks like we're sitting with about 15 minutes. Doing better already. Let's see. Almost to 24 minutes. This is the longest it's ran in weeks. We're almost there. We're going to let it run for like a half an hour. Granted, again, it's not 105 degrees, which is 20 degrees more than where we're at right now in the garage, and it's, nicer outside than those really hot days. But now, something to consider is that the hood is up. The air cleaner is not on. All those, I would assume, would be variants to temperature underneath the hood. So we will find out one way or the other. 28 minutes. Boom! 30 minutes. 30 minutes of solid running. Let's put the air cleaner on and see what happens. Maybe let it run another 5 minutes. Might have to cut a hole in the hood. Poke this air cleaner out a little bit. Give it a few more minutes. Well, as we come up on 35 minutes, I went ahead and could see there was definitely clearance for the air cleaner and vapor locked. But it took 35 minutes, so driving wise, this thing should be fine. Well, I call that a win. 35 minutes idling, 10 of those with the choke on. So that's stagnant air, 85 degrees, no fan at the radiator, no fan on top of the motor, nothing. In the garage, building up fumes. Man, I smell like exhaust. And 35 minutes. That was a good run. If I'm stuck somewhere for 35 minutes, it better be waiting in the parking lot at Target. Anyhow, that's good enough that we can run this thing around and see how it does and maybe use up that fuel a little faster, because that was a rigorous test to fire this up and let it run for 35 minutes at idle. Thanks to Rob, Phenolic Spacer. You don't owe me for the thermal wrap anymore, although I did use it, so you wouldn't owe me anyway. Now we can just run it and see what happens, and then we'll go downtown next weekend and maybe enjoy the cruise and all that stuff. So yeah, and now we can get on to the fun stuff. There's been 5 episodes of troubleshooting fuel and not running and throwing all kinds of things at it, which, you know, a lot of it wasn't necessary, I admit, but hey, my fuel system is brand new, front to rear, brand new. I don't have to worry about that stuff for a long time. So much like the brakes are all new, all the fuel system's new, tires are new. I mean, you get it. Just a good feeling. Everything's right the way it should be. The gauge is now working after putting that in upside down, wrong, blah, 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 with the tank upside down. You know, we've got fuel injection line. I still need to add a couple pieces in the back. I want to put fuel injection line everywhere for this ethanol fuel or whatnot. But now we have fun stuff coming, stuff that's going to make this car look cool. So I say we get on with it, because I'm going to tell you right now, this sucked. Thanks for joining Never Ending Cars. Well, I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you like what you saw, click like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks for joining Never Ending Cars and taking that never-ending ride.